Hey everybody, welcome for the week 4 weekly walkthrough. So let's take a look at what's happening this week. As you may remember from last week, when this week kicks off, I am going to not be here. I'm going to be in California. I get back halfway through week 4. So if you need anything, don't hesitate to reach out. I'm still answering emails and text messages and all that good stuff, but I may be a tiny bit slower than usual. So let's go ahead and take a look at what's happening in the course. All right, so I've already scrolled down on the homepage to week 4. In week 4, we are starting essentially our second paper, and that is a definition paper. So you're going to be reading about definition as a writing mode. In the first paper, we used both narrative and description. In the second paper, the primary mode is going to be definition. And of course, there's additional things in Canvas that will help you with that. And then the only thing due in week 4 is the pre-writing. And each time you've done one of these already, each time that will be a fairly similar process where you will think about different possible topics, think about what you want to cover. This one is going to involve some research. You will be using sources in the definition paper. So part of your pre-writing will be to look around and see what you can find in terms of sources or potential sources. So let's take a look at the module itself and we'll walk through what's happening. So we're done with week 3. Week 4, of course, as I mentioned, you've got a link to the Lumen Learning System. Oh my goodness. And there's 2 things I want you to look at. Module 2, which has to do with using sources, because we are going to be starting using sources in this particular paper. And then module 3 is about writing a definition paper specifically. There's an additional link to definition as a writing mode. And then, of course, we have some additional information. There's a video on how to use sources. There are videos on quoting, paraphrasing, and summarizing, because that's how we incorporate writing, or how we incorporate research into our writing. And then there is a video on writing, specifically on writing a definition essay. I'm not going to go too much into using sources this week, because really at this point, all you're probably going to be doing is looking for sources. I would find a way to save them, and I would maybe create a Word document in which you save all the links that you're going to use, anything like that. But we'll get into more next week about how to officially cite sources by using a works cited page and internal citation. We'll talk about that when we look at the essay itself. For now, let's look at the pre-writing. Like I said, it's very similar. They're always going to be very similar. It is in quiz format. So I'm going to go ahead and open this so we can go through it. You're going to be doing roughly what you did on the narrative one, if my computer ever decides to load. There we go. You're going to want to review the definition assignment first, and we'll talk about that in just a second. And then in question 1, top 3 choices. Question 2, do some pre-writing. You can use any pre-writing technique that you want. 3 is, of course, a preliminary thesis statement. And for many people, it's actually easier to write the first paragraph. So you can do it either way that you want to. And then, of course, in number 4, you're going to be creating a rough outline of the points that you plan on including in the paper. I will mention here something that occurred a lot in the narrative paper pre-writing. Many people are gravitating towards an essay is 5 paragraphs. It has an introduction, 3 body paragraphs, and a conclusion. And that is a very limiting way to look at our essays. Many of our essays will be more than 5 paragraphs. most of them, as a matter of fact, will be more than 5 paragraphs. I want you to think about, even if you have 3 kind of main subpoints, I want you to think about the fact that each one of those can be more than 1 paragraph. Okay, so I'm fine with you kind of setting up point 1, point 2, point 3 in your outline, but keep in mind that that may end up being longer than a single paragraph for each one of them. Okay. Now, you are not required to share any of the sources that you are finding, but like I said, I would find a way to save them. Okay, so let's look at the assignment for the definition essay. Write a definition essay that explores and explains the meaning of one of the following terms through your personal experiences, stories, and examples. So even though you are going to be using research for this paper, and you're probably going to be looking up words and you're going to use definitions and things of that nature, the bulk of your source is you still. So I want you to share your own experiences, stories of people that you know, or stories of people that you have researched, using examples from your own life, but also possibly from research. So don't feel like you have to only rely on research for this. Your personal experiences are still relevant here. You will have at least 3 documented sources to support the definition, and the essay, of course, is about the same length, 750 words, MLA formatting, and documentation. Success, courage, happiness, resilience, freedom, and integrity are the terms to choose from. You do need to choose one of those terms. And there's a kind of an outline here of what you might include in the body, in the conclusion, and so on and so forth. So do review this thoroughly as you are thinking about which ones of these you might pick. And as I mentioned, you will possibly look at 3 of them, and then before you narrow it down to 1. If you need some help with it, of course, let me know. But that's what is on tap for week 4. And then next week, we'll get more into the ins and outs of documentation. So you can feel free to look ahead in week 4 or week 5 if you want to. But we'll talk more about that in the walkthrough for that week as well. All right, everybody. I hope you have a great week, and I will see you when I get back from California.